Hey everybody, welcome to this stream recording thing of Victoria 2. We are going with HPM as the mod for this game. This is this pretty much just it's borderline an official expansion for the game, it seems, by the way that everyone plays it. I'm not amazing at Victoria 2. I've played about 120 hours of the game, and we're just going to be messing around as Brazil, having some fun, and mostly just talking with the chat a lot. So if you're new to the game, I don't know if watching this series will teach you much, but it's mostly just about us having fun as a community. So expect a chill, relaxed background noise kind of thing. Anyway, Empires of Brazil. Now in this mod, we actually start in a war here, down there where we're trying to conquer them, and you can totally lose it if you're not careful. So we'll try and play a little bit smart. All right. So started the game, starts off paused and everything. So let's kind of assess the situation of how Brazil is here in 1836. We're pretty backwards. Our literacy rate is 4.8%. So 4.8% of our country knows how to read. That's a problem. That makes, you know, if literacy is low, science is low. If science is low, you're gonna fall behind. On top of that, if we look at our text here, there's a lot of text we don't start with that usually countries of our level in the world and our standing in the world tend to start with. You know, like we don't have any of this up here, which sucks. Our budget is not balanced at all. Projected daily losses, we're projected to lose a lot of money right now, and we don't have the deepest pockets in the world right now. Ever played Total War? Yeah, I never liked any of them. I tried like 5 of them and I just couldn't get behind it. I don't know why, just not my thing. Anyway, first thing we want to do is set up our national focuses, and I think the smartest thing to do right off the bat is start encouraging intellectuals. Now, normally this is called clergy in base game. In the mod, though, they call it intellectual because it didn't really make sense to call them the clergy. These are kind of your science guys. So I'm just going to take my 2 most populated places and encourage people becoming intellectuals. So, yeah, less than 1% of either of our most highly populated regions are intellectuals. We have no public school system, right? Yeah, we have no school system. Okay. Right now, the upper house is majority conservative, a little bit liberal, a little bit reactionary. That'll probably change. People's ideologies in the country, though, are surprisingly liberal, considering how illiterate the country is. So, before everybody gets into a political bitch fit in the comments, I want to point out that liberal, conservative, all these terms were very, very different in 1836 Brazil, believe it or not. You know, these things mean different things around the world today, let alone back then. So, the audio is distorted. Do you mean my voice audio? And can other people confirm that it sounds like that for them too? Audio is fine. Okay. Other people are saying audio is fine. Sorry, we just did a lot of audio testing. I'm just making sure it's good. So, one thing that I actually quite like about it's good. Okay, thank God. Sorry, that's like the most stressful thing to read for me. Anyway, we do actually have some political reforms by the beginning, though, and this is actually better than a lot of countries start with. For instance, our voting system is not first past the post, it's Jefferson method. I actually quite like not having first past the post voting. So this is one of those social reforms that is not a direct upgrade. Like, some of these are a direct upgrade, you know? Like, you generally want, like, slavery outlawed and stuff like that when you're in the New World like we are, because you already have a boost to immigration attraction when you're in the New World because people want to come over here and have a new start, right? So by having lots of political reforms, that encourages more people to move there, you know? They're more likely to move to a country that doesn't have slavery, obviously. They're more likely to move to a country where they can vote, you know? Things that are pretty appealing when you're looking to have a new start in a new country. So generally, if you want to pass a lot of political reforms, what you want is that you want your upper house to be really liberal, or you want your people to be fucking pissed. Because the more pissed off your people are, not to the point of a rebellion, but if they're militant and they know how to read, then they generally start to become a bit more liberal, and the liberals in the upper house generally want political reforms regardless of what it is. And so that's kind of what we're aiming for right now. Now, right now we're a constitutional monarchy. We can literally just appoint the ruling party. So if we want to piss off our people really fast to turn them liberal, a great way to do that is hold an election, let them vote in a party, and then immediately have your monarchy switch to the party. That's a great way to piss off your people. So I'm going to hold a snap election. Right now, the conservative party's in power. So what are our political parties right now for Brazil? What do we got? So the blue is conservative, yellow is liberal, and kind of the really, really dark blue is reactionary. Right, so so trade policy is protectionism. That's perfectly fine for early on. Interventionism, that's fine for early on. Pluralism, that's actually a lot nicer than a lot of countries have at this point in the game. A lot of these countries right now have moralism, which not the funnest. Did you turn off send for donations? It hasn't been on for like a year, I think. Oh, Jesus. Thanks for the $100. My fiance graduated college. So it's become my tradition. Yay. Thank you. And congratulations. That's fucking awesome. Sorry, it's, the sounds for those things have been turned off for quite a while right now, just because I can't get it working in a good way, you know? Jingoism is fine war policy right now. That's pro-military, which is still good. Limited citizenship. Now, here's a weird one. This is pretty rare. The conservatives give limited citizenship, whereas our liberal party gives residency, which is not as good. I generally like whatever gives you more citizenship opportunities for people, because that will increase their assimilation rate, and assimilation's pretty useful. So that's the thing, is like, liberals for a lot of countries tend to be the most hands-off on the economy and the most pro-immigration. The liberals in Victoria 2 tend to be kind of modern-day libertarianish, in that hands-off on the economy, let people move in. Sometimes a little anti-military, sometimes not. We don't have any socialist parties or any of that stuff yet. That comes later in the game. But I'm just happy that we have Jeffersonian method, because that tends to create a three-party system, and a three-party system I find is fairly good at getting shit done in this game. Is the music too loud for you guys, by the way? I feel like it's a little loud for me. So, dealing with our war here, they have half the troops that we do down there, but it's also very rough terrain, so we totally could lose if we play like an idiot. So I'm going to just tell our much larger army to march down there. We have our better officer commanding that army, although neither is good. Music is good? Okay. Good to know. Do you plan to stay as a monarchy? Not really. Have I seen that guy's vids on Viki too? No. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is tell that to stop showing me options there, because it's annoying. And for native status, the only thing I wanted to ping me for is the Protection Act, because that is the one that I want to do at some point. Native American Protection Act, because it makes a bunch of the natives into accepted cultures and helps give them basically full citizenship, which is really nice. You want as many accepted cultures as you can get generally, because only population of accepted cultures are going to contribute towards how many national focus points you can have, and those are pretty important. No shade to Andy, but the one who's not a fan of Pokemon Stadium. He's saying it's his most popular. Yeah, it is the most popular Let's Play I've ever done on release, that is. Okay, so we have a Regency right now, which in general drives up. Oh, that's why our org rate is down. Okay, but political reform desire is higher. That's actually good. I kind of like that. Well, we got to take advantage of that while we can. We got to piss people off and get political reform done during this Regency. So our national value is equality, which gives more social reform desire. Probably explains why we have this many liberals this early in the game. Normally, equality drives people towards socialism, but because socialism doesn't exist yet, they all get driven towards liberal instead, because it's the next closest thing to their ideal. So That's what we're going to roll with for now. We need to try and get people as liberal as we can during this period of time where socialism isn't around yet, because this is our biggest opportunity for it. Which means the first political reform I probably want to push through is press rights. We want freedom of the press. Freedom of the press is a pretty great way to get people wanting social reform. It's that and empowering trade unions. And so we want to do that early. Where's Karl Marx when you need him? He is right. Was it here? There we go. There's Karl Marx, Collectivist Theory, which is under Economic Thought and Critique under Commerce. His tech is fine. It's not amazing. You're going to get it inevitably at some point. Really, the things that are going to affect that more is political thought advancements. You can see he's also here. Because it starts to increase plurality, which makes people a little bit more interested in politics. And that gets people out there and voting more. Which will get you a little bit more representation. Like, it'll mean that the needs of the people is more accurately displayed in their voting habits. Because when they have low conscientiousness, they don't really understand politics and know what they're voting for. That's kind of how the game works. So what we're going to do is put on the second highest speed here. Now, you do bank technology that you're not spending for about a year, but I want to spend it early. Now, this is a hard part with Brazil, I find, is figuring out your early priorities. On one hand, one of the biggest problems of Brazil is they are incredibly illiterate, and you need to get the literacy going. So that would lean me towards education efficiency to, you know, make it so that people learn how to read better. This is extremely a jam. Awesome. What about Norway? Norway was still owned by Sweden at the time. So, yeah. Norway up here is like in a minor party with Sweden, right? Yeah, they're allied to Sweden, but they're kind of a bit of a vassal state, which is why it says Sweden over the whole thing. But the Norwegian lands are, like, different colored to denote that it is its own country, but it doesn't have independence. In fact, if Sweden takes Denmark, Sweden can proclaim this whole country as Scandinavia, and that can make Sweden very quickly become a great power in the world. It's a very powerful start to do that early, because it makes both Norwegian and Danish accepted cultures, which instantly just supercharges your economy. It's very nice. I'm pretty sure that any one of those three countries can do that. Sweden is just in the best position to do it early on. How's it different from CK2? It's a totally different game. Made by the same people, though. Do you make money off channel points? No. Channel points are not worth money. Anyway. But another thing we could do early on is to balance the budget. It wouldn't hurt to do, like, stock exchange or ad hoc bill printing early on. Something to give us admin efficiency or tax efficiency. Because if we look at our budget, we could literally tax everybody at 100% and still be hemorrhaging money. Because, although we're taxing them 100%, our admin efficiency and our tax efficiency are so bad that we'd only effectively be taxing them 25%. Now, 25% is still really high tax, but for this point in human history, it's not high tax. Before we go making decisions like that, I guess we want to look at what does our country produce. So our top export right now is coffee, which makes sense. Then cotton, then livestock. We're importing a lot of grain, fruit, and fish, which means that our people aren't getting enough food by themselves. So if we look at our production here, how much food are we producing? It's very little. Yeah, we're using about the same amount of fruit as we're producing. Fish, yeah, it's the same. Livestock, we're actually producing more livestock than we're using, which explains why we're selling livestock. We have an abundance of it. So we're trying to make the citizens are trying to make some money by selling that. Tobacco, we use about half of our tobacco. Tobacco's worth not much right now. I think it's probably because people are buying tobacco in other places. Yeah, tobacco's not worth much right now unless you mass produce it. We're trying to buy up a stockpile of clothing right now. Yeah, the government has a need for clothing. And clipper convoys, which is probably what's blowing through a lot of our money, is trying to buy ships. Because we don't produce any. This is quite accurate to what Brazil produced back then. Brazilian here? That's awesome. I do have a lot of Brazilian viewers, so I'm sure you guys are extra interested right now in what's going on. So we're going to try and make Brazil as cool as possible, right? We want to make this, I mean, preferably, we want to make this the most powerful country in the world. Right now, we're the 17th highest power in the world. So we are a civilized nation. We are just below being a secondary power. Now, secondary powers can colonize, so I'd quite like to be a secondary power. Obviously, on the way to being a great power one day. In fact, optimally, we want to start controlling all of South America, right? We want to be the power of South America. And this song is way louder than the previous one, and I feel like I'm yelling now. I'm just going to turn it down a smidgen, okay? I hope that's still good for you guys. So we are... Civilized nation is what it calls a nation that is westernized to the point that we have modern-day technology. Like, I'll put it this way. We could build a factory if we wanted to. We know how to build a factory. But the factory wouldn't be profitable because our factory technology sucks. If we look here, we have no factories. Our country does not have a single factory. All goods are produced by artisans, which are individual people who are buying products and deciding to make something out of it and attempt to sell it on the market. You know? Classic. So you can see here, if we're looking at all these places, like, where are we getting our fruit? We're getting it from farmers who are getting it off the land that produces fruit. But if we see, like, the more advanced goods, you know, where's our lumber coming from? Artisans. We're making a lumber, and it's from some artisan somewhere has decided he wants to make lumber. And we can see the whole production line if we want to, you know? We can see that our artisans are producing basically 1.2 lumber a day. It's being used by our own artisans who are making furniture, paper, and even clipper convoys, which are pretty valuable. Clipper convoys, a lot of the world needs right now. And it can be used for all of these things, from airplanes to different kinds of ships to furniture, you know, what you'd think it'd be made for. But airplanes don't exist yet, so no one's making airplanes right now. No one's invented airplanes yet. We also have a slight amount of rubber, which is cool. Rubber is going to become very valuable in late game when we have electronics and stuff, but right now, rubber is not really worth anything, I don't think. I mean, we can check the trade value on that. Oil is surprisingly valuable, even though no one really uses it yet. Oh no, rubber's worth a little money. Okay. We're going to get a little bit just by selling rubber. Probably just about no one's buying it, though. So, we're not necessarily going to make that money off of it. Yeah, you could make a big, awful dictatorship if you wanted to. This game goes until, I think it goes for 100 years, so it goes until 1936. Basically, the lead up to World War II is where this game ends. Greetings from Czech Republic. Awesome. Okay. What are the needs of our people? Right now, our people really need coffee. I'm sorry, tea. Tea is mostly produced by the Qing Empire, which makes sense. It's the current governing body of China. Shogunate Japan is produced the second most, then Imperial Japan. Kingdom of Hosan? I don't know. I guess I don't even know where that country is, so I would assume it's probably in Asia, so maybe it's not pronounced like that. And Yuan is producing a lot, which is a place in southern China. Tea isn't worth much right now, but we're probably importing all of our tea. And the artisans are going to want to drink tea to be happy, so... Wow. Buy from stockpile right there. It's turned off, right? Yeah, it is turned off right now. Good. I do want that turned off right now. I don't want to sell my stockpile to my citizens until, like, late game, when we're in late game wars. It's Korea? Gotcha. Okay. So most of tea is coming from East Asia right now. We're not doing great. We gotta clean things up. So right now, the most appealing things to me would be things like interchangeable parts is never a bad idea, because although the initial technology is just factory throughput and we don't have factories, the inventions that can be made after are great. Things like increasing livestock output, wool output, tea output, grain, fruit, more tea, wood. Like, it helps you with producing most goods, which is very valuable to us, because right now we're pretty much just surviving off raw resources that we're trying to get out of the ground at an efficient rate. Tea is a luxury. They should get bean juice. Do you mean coffee? Yeah, coffee is a higher class of luxury good at this point in the game, which is why it's quite nice that we actually produce coffee. Ecuador wants an alliance with us. We don't have a claim on Ecuador, right? I don't think we do, because we don't even border them. No. Yeah, they have a truce with Colombia, that's it. Now, Colombia, I think we might have a claim on. We don't. Okay. We got a claim on somebody, I know it. I wish there was an easy way of checking that. We have a claim on Paraguay. I think it might just be Paraguay. Maybe. Yeah, we do have a claim on these guys, but we're literally at war with them over it right now. Uruguay is fine. Okay. Okay, so the only person we can get a free war on is Paraguay. We wouldn't get any infamy for declaring war on them because we have a legitimate legal claim to that land. Okay, okay. I don't mind befriending Ecuador then, do I? They're not at war. They're not at war. Their rank is much lower than this. They're not really a contender for us. They have 3 brigades, so they've got a very small army. They got a lot of war exhaustion. So they must have just had a war. Okay. I'll accept the alliance and we'll see where it goes in the future. Rush Sokoto? That's not so possible with this mod. It's not as profitable as before where, you know, they made Africa far more accurate to real life. You see? Huge inspiration for me and helping me through life and my job. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do get messages like that a lot, and it always means something to me, even if I can't always have time to respond, because I just... The internet's not fun anymore. I try to make it fun again. So, another thing that I would want to go through on early tech is I wouldn't mind going to medicine early, because generally medicine is the first tech you want for a lot of people, because there's a lot of tech in here, a lot of inventions that increase population growth, and population is the bedrock of a country, is the amount of people in it. And so anything to have people get born more is pretty important, right? And the earlier you do it, the more important, because the game's on a time limit. But we're behind on so much tech. I need education efficiency. How long would it take me to get it? If I selected it, what year does it estimate at this rate that I'd get it done? I wouldn't get it done for like 2 years. What about... Okay, so hold on. How many points does this cost? 3,400 points for that. What about, like, interchangeable parts? What does that cost? 7,000. Yeah, that's not happening. Tier 1 research is way more in line with what we're capable of right now. Yeah, I'd love to get some better tax efficiency too, but it's just not happening right now. Now, level 1 of freedom of trade is actually really appealing. We don't have sulfur, coal. Do we have oil? I think we have the tiniest bit. Cement factories. Making cement's pretty important. Diplomatic influence is going to be nice in the long run. I like the farming output. Just making all of our farms produce more with the same amount of people is very valuable. I like that MDP never manages to feel the need to be too PC. Yeah, I'm just honest. I'm just honest, and people usually don't get mad about it because... I don't know. People don't get mad about it. People don't get mad about it when I'm just honest. They get mad about other people. I don't get it. Sorry, was someone asking about Persia? Tell me what I think about, check about Iran/Persia, yeah. Yeah, they're actually kind of cool in this game. There's a lot of potential with them. They're a country that a lot of great nations tend to fight over trying to get in their sphere of influence. People don't usually declare war on them because big population, they got a lot of troops, and even though the troops are out of date at the beginning of the game, it counts as an uncivilized nation, which basically means they are not industrialized yet in this year. But they're friendly with the United Kingdom, which means the United Kingdom usually ends up sphering them, which means that Persia would buy, on the international market, their people would buy from Great Britain before they buy from other countries. And Likewise, Persia would sell their goods to the United Kingdom first, and to the rest of the world second. So it's mutually beneficial. Okay. So early focus right now, we need to balance the budget, and that's going to be really hard with our current technological issues. I do think I probably want to research education efficiency right away. This will help us educate the population. Right now, they are becoming literate at a shockingly low speed. Not even a day has passed yet. They're at 5.1% literacy. I don't know why it took a 3% jump. I think that had to do with the election. It had to rebalance something. So, cost-cutting measures. First of all, we are defunding the Navy as much as we can, because that right there just made our country hemorrhage money much less. Because right now, if we were to keep things the way it is, even with 100% tax on everybody, we'd go bankrupt in under a year. So, I would love to defund the military a little, but we're literally at war right now, so I can't afford to do that. I do need to fund education severely. We're willing to go into a deficit for that. We need to fund education to get people literate. That should do a lot, but it's still going to start slow. I also really want to fund the administration, because this will increase tariff efficiency and the rate of population promotion, yeah. Mostly population promotion to bureaucrats. This is incentivizing people to become bureaucrats, which will help admin efficiency, which will help tariffs mostly. When are you doing Pokemon Stadium again? Every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a few months now. Anyway. Generally, you want to tax the rich less and the middle class less than the lower class, because you want to incentivize people to want to raise up in society and move away from being laborers and farmers and move up to being factory workers, or, eventually you want a lot of capitalists, because those are the people who are going to start, purchasing and investing in factories and get the economy rolling and get jobs for everybody. But right now, Brazil can't handle that. We're not doing that right now. Right now, we are taxing the rich, not because we're going to make much money out of it. We're not making much money out of it, but because the landowners we can squeeze a little bit of money out of. I don't want to piss them off too much, but I'll tax them at 50, which is effectively 12.5% tax. Sorry if I'm correcting my neck a lot. I've been doing a lot to try and correct my neck recently, because the posture problems, Is high tariff good? Typically no, because it impoverishes artisans who are in the middle class. Those are like basically independent businessmen who are making their own goods. You don't want to impoverish them, especially this early in the game. So, if I can, I'm going to drop their tax a little bit. Again, you want incentives for people to try and move up in society. But, anyway. We are going to do a very light tariff, because I don't want to go, starving all of my middle class. The tariff income is going to fluctuate wildly on how much it actually helps the country. Military spending can't go below this, which is fine. 50's fine for now. This is going to get expensive, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to keep that right there, just for the sake of this war, at least. We're making almost no money taxing the middle class almost at all. The maximum money we can make off them is so little that I'm actually going to just drop the tax severely. I'm going to do an effective tax on them of 10%. And do I have any reason to keep these people from being aristocrats? Not really. I'll drop them to 10% as well. Okay. Just to get a little bit out of them. Now, the lower class are having a hard time. Right off the bat, a lot of them aren't even getting all of their life needs, which is why we're importing so much food. But we gotta piss them off a little bit, so to make some political change. So we're gonna unpause the game now and start doing this war. We gotta be very careful how we do this war. You could easily lose this just by playing stupid. So projected daily balance here is not actually very accurate often. It looks like we're actually losing far less money than that. We're almost breaking even. So we can run a deficit for a little while while we try and fix things, Whew. Okay. Chile wants an alliance. We have no claim on them. Okay. They're a little bit distant, so we don't have much problem with them. Now, they have a lot of goods we like. I remember that. They have coal mines, don't they? If we look at the RJO output, we look at their country, they have iron. They have a lot of grain. They have a lot of food we could buy. Precious metals for gold. Okay. The iron is very valuable early on, too. I wouldn't mind conquering a little from them early on, but for now, I think I will accept their alliance, and I'm actually going to call them in. They will accept? Good. I'm calling them into the war, and I'm calling Ecuador as well. They will accept. Okay, I'm calling them both into the war just so I can get a little bit of help. Oh, did they... Okay, they actually have more people than I thought then. Okay. We'll see how this turns out. If I can separate them and hit them, I will, because that'll probably be enough to win me a war. What government do you aim for? Entirely depends on individual, like, what I'm doing. Okay, so they both accepted, by the way, so they joined in the war. They might take a while to get troops over here, though. Okay, so they're sieging some land here of ours. That's fine. I'm not going to run at them because they are in... First of all, we'd be way above the supply limit, so we'd both start starving out, but they're on hills. I don't want them to have any direct defensive train bonuses. Okay, now Uruguay wants to team up with me. They have one troop, but it's also on the southern border here with them, so I'd gladly accept that. Oh, they're just doing it because they have rebels. Call them? They'll accept. Okay. All right, I'm going to go occupy their capital. If we're going to base race, I'm going to beat these guys. My country's bigger than theirs. And I'm going to also spend a little bit of my Diplo power here on befriending the United States a little bit. Generally, everybody who's a secondary power or civilized nation will want to befriend some major power. With us, United States is probably most convenient. All right, this is good. Uruguay's already backing us up in seizing land, although with that small of troops, it's going to take a while. Okay, we have an election going on, so this is how we start to shape what the voters want. Majority of voters right now seem to be pro-military. Okay. So I get to shape things very slightly in terms of either pacifism, anti-military, pro-military, or jingoism, and it always pisses off a little bit of somebody. This is going to piss off almost nobody, but it'll get people more pro-military, which is pro-liberal party. We only have one political party that's pro-military right now, and that's the liberals. So we're going to do that because we just want to get our people liberal right now so that we can pass more political reforms to get more immigrants. Okay, so how's our population spread here? The next most populated state's this one, so we'll move to that. Okay. And I'm actually going to mobilize a little bit of the fleet here. I wouldn't normally do this, but we're going to take all the Clipper transports out of that. We have our fleet basically defunded right now, but I'm just going to blockade them. Oh, it looks like Uruguay's already blockading them? Okay, I don't need to do it then. Stay in port. Yeah, that's actually really nice. They're blockading them to fuck with their overseas trade. Now, Colombia wants an alliance. Everybody wants to ally with me. I might want to conquer some of them at some point, honestly. They have tropical wood. They have lots of good wood here. One day, I kind of want to make the Panama Canal. They got a little coffee. Coffee's a big seller, although I could get a lot more out of that out of Venezuela. Why don't we team up with them, and we'll take out Venezuela later. Okay, where are they going to move after this siege? Are they going to just try to uncap their capital? Probably. I'm actually going to stay put for a second so that they make the decision to go north. Yeah, they're going north. Good. There we go. They're committed to that? Okay, they're committed to dumb things. Wow, that fleet from... Oh, Colombia's joined their fleet in as well. No wonder. I was going to say, that's a big fleet. We're jacking up the war score fast, though. It's nice. If I, can I get a breakdown on where it's all from? Yeah, attacker blockade is really nice. It helps. It also helps them cut down on their income, which will help them, it'll make them have to defund their military more, or at least hurt their pockets. Speaking of hurt pockets, we are running a bit of a deficit right now. We're very close to getting them to give up. Now, where are they marching to? They're marching to the capital? They're going to get there on the 24th? Okay. I'll wait. 4% more in favor of secularized, yeah. Okay, and now I'm going to go hit their people, cut them off at the pass. It's a minor victory, but it's a victory. With their morale still low, there we go. They're so close to accepting. Next most populated province is this one. So we'll seize that next, and that should be what gets them to give up. Not Chile actually sent some people in, I'm surprised. If you win, how much are you taking? We have a claim to annex the whole country, which is all 5 of these chunks of land. Election finished already. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what we knew it was going to be, is an overwhelming landslide for the Conservatives, because 1, the majority of voters are conservative right now in our country, and 2, under political party right now, we have harassment as our political thing right now, which means it's very hard to run an opposing party. There's a massive amount of bonus to ruling party support at all times, and the ruling party right now is conservative. So you want to see how you piss off the population? They just had a fair and democratic vote. They voted for the Conservatives. Now I'm going to use my monarchy and force the Liberal Party to be in. And then hold an election. Sorry, population, the royal family doesn't think you voted right. That's a great way to piss off the population. That's going to drive up militancy and conscientiousness, which will help us push through some early political reforms. Now, because we switched to Liberal Party, that actually changed us to free trade. So where we set our tariffs and stuff is a little different now. Yeah. Okay, now, some people in the middle class are actually starving. Mostly because of the tariff, probably, and the tax. So I'm going to actually just stop taxing the middle class, because it's so important that the middle class doesn't die right now. Pretty much all the classes, like all the population we need right now, very badly, is middle class, so we're just not going to tax them. Okay, we're about to get this place. Boom. They're still not willing to give up, even though our war score is very high. Probably because it's an annexation. Alright, we'll seize this place. We've basically won this war. They have a lot seized up here, but we're about to get their whole country, which is an auto-win. You love my English? Thank you. I've never had that compliment before. They would still not accept. Okay, we're seizing the whole thing. I wanted to end it without this much war, but okay, it's their choice. Help them seize the last province. We got a blockade and everything. Like, when do they know that it's over? I could have beat them one-on-one. Then I called like 3 more countries in. Okay, what is this? Immigration debate at local elections. We can push things more in favor of residency if we want, and the more we push it, the more angry other people get. Normally, see, the voters are all for limited citizenship or full citizenship. Normally, I wouldn't push for residency because I tend to like full citizenship, which is the opposite end of the scale. But right now, I just want to piss everyone off, so I'm gonna go hardcore pro-residency just to piss off, like, basically every voter. There we go. We annexed them. Now, we can either extend slavery to this new province or do not extend it. If we don't extend it, we'll raise conscientiousness in every place that has it. Considering we have slavery in nearly every single state, we're going to not extend slavery so that more people become more politically aware. Because right now, early on, I'm not worried about rebellions. I just want people pissed off and politically aware. So we just took all this land here, which means we have a new source of tobacco, livestock, good, wood, and livestock. Okay. Well, livestock is one of our biggest exports, and we just got a new source of it. So, our next target might be Venezuela, but I kind of don't want to march through the Amazon. They have 1 troop right now, and they have no alliances, do they? They're only allied with the Republic of Central America. The Republic of Central America has no troops. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about beating up Venezuela. I don't know about you guys. An army of this size could march through most of the Amazon without supply issues, but not all of it. So I'm going to split the army. He's going up there. The other one's going to wait half a month and then march. Ugh, that guy sucks, but take what you can get right now, I guess. Okay. Yeah, the war is over, so immigration attraction is back to normal again, because you generally don't want to immigrate to a country at war, believe it or not. Okay. How long did it take to grow your beard? See, that's a hard question to answer for anyone who has a beard, because different parts of my beard are different lengths. See, that's the thing is, to somebody who a beard is a normal part of their look, you don't think of growing a beard like, oh, it took this long to grow this beard, it was a project. No, it's just part of you. You know? Okay. So we can push things towards state capitalism if we want. The only political party we have right now that is pro-state capitalism is the Reactionary Party, which I don't want in power because they are the most likely party to repeal a bunch of political reforms. I don't want them in power. I wouldn't mind appointing them just for a moment to build a few factories hands-on, because if you have state capitalism, you can manually build factories as the government. But we don't want that right now, so I'm actually just going to do the lowest amount. Yeah, they're separated enough. They can march. Okay. You can't make your own political party, no. The citizens will make political parties as time goes on if the voters' needs are not really being met by any of the political parties. Yeah, I figured this would happen. We got this state under control again, but they're not happy about it, so militancy is going to be high. Mostly because I don't think they're an accepted culture, are they? Culture, some are Brazilian. A large amount of them are Afro-Brazilian, though, which I don't think is an accepted culture for us. I'm trying to remember where it says that. I always have a hard time finding where it says what your accepted culture... There we go. Population is Brazilian. So Afro-Brazilian, we want to make an accepted culture at some point. Constitutional crisis, which we're going to have until... we're going to have for 1 year. Immediately, we just lose a bunch of prestige and pluralism. And it pisses people off. However... oh, no. People who support liberals become less angry. That sucks. I want them angry. So basically, mostly people who are... yeah, the people who are not Brazilian are becoming very aware. The people who are Brazilian are becoming a bit more aware and a bit more angry. Wow, that jacked up conscientiousness. Are we close to passing a reform? We're not super far from passing a reform. 30% of the conservatives are voting yes. 100% of the liberals are voting yes. The liberals always vote yes. The conservatives will vote yes more and more, the more worried they are about an uprising. But so much of the population right now is conservative in terms of the upper house that we need to put the fear of God into them a bit more. Okay. Thought you'd be playing CK3. CK3 is not out until September. Free trader protectionism. The voters are more for free trade, so I'm going to go protectionism to piss all of them off. Okay, the upper house rearranged, and it is more conservative now. Okay. Opposite of what I'm trying to do right now. Election finished. Okay, Conservative Party's back in power again. Do another election. I want to make them a little angrier, but I don't want to make them quite this conscientious. They're a bit too conscientious for my tastes. Now that you mentioned September, are you planning on doing Let's Play of Cyberpunk 2077? I don't know. Hey, Frozen Kitty. What's the point of this game? to win, to come in first place, to make the best country. And right now we're doing that through some early conquest. So I'm not willing to drop my land spending yet because we're literally about to do another war. In fact, I'm going to start justifying early. I want to acquire a state. That's 11 infamy, which is a lot, but I really want to take some land. All right. And immediately we got caught and have the highest infamy penalty you can have, which is basically 11. Cool. It got very... That's extraordinarily unlucky, I want to point out, but whatever, it happens. Alright, get... Oh god, are they syncing up now? Fucking... This is exactly what I was trying to avoid, is them getting on the same tile so that people die. So that one's going to there. Okay. The Amazon takes a while to trek through, believe it or not. There's no railroads, and it's pretty harsh terrain. Okay, so what do we have here? This is putting people in favor of laissez-faire. We have no party that's laissez-faire, so I'm going to do massive laissez-faire to piss everyone off. You keep marching, keep marching. Yeah, you go that way. Okay, yep, and now our CB acquisition is slower. That's Cassius Belli. It's going to take us a little bit longer. Did you work out everything with the audio? And not completely, but probably it's good enough for now, I hope. There. Getting into position. Okay. What is CK2? Crusader Kings 2. It's another video game made by the same company. Okay. Income is looking bad right now, but what are you gonna do? Making a little bit of money through tariffs. That's nice. Let's learn a little bit about our population. In here, Rio de Janeiro. It's our most important place right now anyway. God, we have a lot of Afro-Brazilians here. Okay. I do want to get rid of slavery as a fairly early thing. But you kind of want to hold it for a little bit just to piss people off so that you can push through more reforms. Yeah, we'll need to get... Before the railroads are, like, passable in a safe amount of time, we'll need railroads in there. Okay. So what are the farmers getting a lot of coffee out of there? Yeah, that's our main export in Rio de Janeiro. We do have some artisans here who are working on clipper convoys. They're very likely to change profession into intellectuals, which is fine, honestly. Right now, intellectuals is what I need the most to help get my population literate. So you can see the breakdown of the percent chance on everything here, which is very cool. For the most part, this is about as high as we're going to get it right now. Yeah, that's about as high as we're going to get it right now. It doesn't help that conscientiousness is above 8. If conscientiousness is above 8, which is massively high, then it starts to make them not want to switch profession, which is a shame. So I do need them to be a bit less conscientious, which is a problem right now, because that often comes with pissing them off. I want to make them more militant right now, because that's what's going to make them actually vote in, like, law changes. You can see here, we only need 5% more of the upper house to vote to be able to change a political reform right now. All that requires is the conservatives to get slightly more worried, which requires a little bit more militancy. Our conscientiousness is actually above what I want it to be. Okay, make them more secular. Yeah, let's make them more secular. Refund the Navy a bit in order to take out Venezuela's trade. No, I can't afford it. The people I call into the war are gonna blockade them because that's what they did with the previous people. I think it's safer to keep it this way. Okay. We definitely still need that tax, though, which is a shame because it's very expensive. I can't even fund all the things I want to fund yet. It's difficult. We have a lot of limitations here. Now, what region do I want to take? I can't take their capital region. So if I go here, they have what regions? Are these two different regions with very similar names? Or very similar colors? Yes, I hate when they do that. Oh my god, that's the worst. Would you believe it if I said this region right here is different from this region right here? Those are apparently different colors that are appropriate to have next to each other. Thank you, Paradox. Apparently that is just not confusing. That's not confusing, apparently. Okay, so they have 2 regions I'm allowed to take then. And I really wish I could take the capital region because it's huge and profitable. Oh, they also have this little region. Okay. So the coffee is mostly out of the capital region, which is what I really want, but I'm not going to be able to get that. But if I take this whole western region here, there's a bit of coffee, and there's some livestock, or there's some wool, and we are importing wool. So having more wool would cut down on import costs. I could get cotton over here, potentially. Yeah. Or is that... No, that's UK up there. That just looks incredibly similar. That's Trinidad. Okay, yeah. As much as I'd like to take this border stuff, which is also kind of nice, getting a little bit more wood. Because we're mostly tropical wood, not the more practical wood. The coffee is still more important to me. Yeah, I know what Pokemon Conquest is. Okay. Okay. We need to reform some tax. That's one thing. Do I want to crank up the tax on the rich right now? On the landowners? I actually don't know if I want to do that because it'd be disincentivizing the landowners. I really want to get rid of slavery early. So, this is a weird thing, but slavery, you'd think slavery would be really good for your economy because in real life, slavery was just cheap labor. It's not actually great in this game for anything other than driving social reform, or political reform rather, because slaves are tax exemptions. You can tax a farmer, you can tax a laborer, you can't tax a slave, they don't have money. And so he's a tax exemption. Instead, all that money goes to the landowner who probably owns the slave. That's not as easy to tax. Because if you tax them, you're also taxing the capitalists, which are helping your industry. So... is there a language barrier in annexing regions? There kind of can be. It's actually a cultural barrier. If they're not of your main accepted culture, then they don't contribute towards your country in the same ways, you know? Okay, I can make my country 10% more liberal, which is already really nice. Gain a little bit of militancy and conscientiousness, and all poor people become 10% more in favor of wealth voting. That's good, because that's the next voting thing. So that's social reform. Or we could let the police beat the shit out of them, kill 1% of the population in that area, and really piss people off. I'm going to just let people be more liberal. And that's actually a law that I want to change. I want them in favor of that. How's our officers? We need way more officers, but right now, the intellectuals are still too important. If we look at our population right now again, let's take Rio de Janeiro again, and let's take an aristocrat. So the aristocrats of Rio de Janeiro, these are the landowners here. They're very likely to turn into intellectuals right now. Which is, I'd honestly prefer them to just be intellectuals. I just want people to be literate. Looks like the landowners are the most literate people in Rio de Janeiro, and even then, only 22% of them know how to read. Even the rich in my country don't know how to read. I gotta work on it. In fact, his needs aren't getting met because the tax is so high, probably. His expenses and his income are equal. He's not making a profit, and he has no savings. So I'm basically starving them out of their money right now, which is making them want to become intellectuals. Now, that can hurt our economy at some point doing that, because, you know, they are still the people funding the farms and the mines and stuff. It's their money that's funding those to run. Interventionalism. Laissez-faire for the sake of... Nah, what'll piss them off the most? State capitalism. That'll piss off the majority of people, right? Yeah. There you go. Oh, here we go. What do we got here? Election finished. Exact results we thought. We're just doing elections a lot, mostly because it gets you those random pop-ups that help shape the country. Spamming elections is a great way to start molding your country. Cool, another slowdown on justifying this war. It's giving them more time to prepare. I don't like this. They still only have, like, 2 brigades. And how many do we have? We have 9 brigades, and they have 2. So we have a massive numbers advantage. Are they trying to, like, secure an alliance? No. They still just have 1 weak alliance. Yep, let people run their rallies. That makes them more liberal again. How close are we to passing a law? We're still 45%. The next time we hit a threshold on the conservatives getting worried, we'll be able to pass a law. Okay, what is this? I can't pronounce, I don't know Portuguese, by the way. So, my pronunciation of anything here is going to be very, very wrong. I'm not from a country that speaks Portuguese or Spanish, and so a lot of South American names and place names I'm probably going to pronounce very, very wrong. So just be aware, you know? Yeah, getting a reform is a priority for me. So what is this doing? For 3 years, nationalist agitation, militancy is up, conscientiousness is up. Rich people immediately get furious. Anyone living... And the Amazonia, which are the people living in the Amazon, they're a little pissed. Okay. Okay. So the only movement we have right now is a suffrage movement, which is starting to slowly pick up steam. We have a lot of rebel movements over here. The only one that's dangerous right now is the slave revolt, because it's 500,000 people. But we're also going to outlaw slavery soon, so... Yeah, the revolt risk is 0 right now, which basically means, yeah, 500,000 people would rise up, but they have no chance of rising up right now. They have no brigades put together. They have no chance of revolt yet. But we have a peaceful movement for suffrage. They want wealth voting, which is just the next level of more equal voting, which is fine. I want to give them that at some point. So what is this? This is the ability to make people more into free trade. People are already really into free trade. But, yeah, sure. I generally like free trade. And that'll push people towards the Liberal Party anyway. So we'll just make people way more into free trade. You'll notice our bank is getting bad, by the way. Not the literal national bank, which has very little investment. I mean, our stockpile of money is only at 10,000. We've been hemorrhaging money the whole game, and it's starting to really get nasty. Let's increase relations with the states again. How close are we to that war? Very slow. It'll take like another 130 days because all these debuffs. The Regency is slowing it down, too. I can make people more in favor of pacifism. I actually don't want people in favor of pacifism, so I'm just going to not encourage that. How many reforms are left? We're at the beginning of the game. We have almost no reforms of any kind. Brazil starts with a couple, but they also start very behind in technology. That's kind of their trade-off. Brazil is not super hard to get political reform on. They're pretty in favor of political reform. Uruguay wants another alliance. Did they flip government? I think the rebels won. Yeah, their rebels won. That's why they're making new alliances now. I'm not gonna conquer them, am I? They actually really like me. I don't really have any interest in conquering them right now, so I'll accept the alliance. We've got good alliances. Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, and Uruguay. We've signed a lot more alliances than most South African powers. South American. Oh my god, we got our 3rd debuff. The Casus Belli acquiring speed. I've never had more than 2 in my life on the same war. Oh, Uruguay is calling me in? Did they have a war? I didn't even know. No wonder they were asking for that. I should have checked. See, that's the kind of thing you forget about sometimes. So they are in a humiliation war against Argentina. They're against 2 countries, but one of them has no army. I don't want to march my troops all the way down there. I'll do it eventually. I'll agree. I'll agree. And I'll deal with their war after. This war comes first. We're almost done our education efficiency, by the way. Okay, so first of all, I want to point out the rate at which we're teaching people how to read has tripled in the last 2 years. The game's been going for 2 years, and we've tripled the rate at which people are learning how to read. It's still incredibly slow, but still. Oh, here we go. Upper house rearranged. We got 3% more liberal. That's gonna help. We're in a war now, so immigration attraction is down. That's the one crap thing about being in a distant war, is immigration's gonna be down for a while. Not that we're the most appealing place in the world for immigration. Most people immigrating are probably going to the States because they have more reforms and a better quality of life. What's this game? It's an early Paradox Forex strategy game taking place in the Victorian era. Election finished. Do another one. You know what? I have enough troops that if I wanted to, I could send just like these 4 brigades down to help, but I don't know. I kind of wanted to send the whole army at some point, you know? The plan for economy fixing, we're going to have to run a deficit for a little while. Okay, we can change a law. So, here's the thing about changing laws. Every time you do a political reform, the upper house is going to become a little bit more conservative. However, if you keep people pissed off by doing reforms that they're not asking for, it's easy to get a few reforms out all in one go. So I'm thinking I might just immediately outlaw slavery right off the bat. I could do any of these. The most tempting ones for me right now are outlawing slavery, because that would immediately start getting people taxable. The downside would be slavery quickly pisses people off, and so keeping it would help us push through more reform. I wouldn't mind opening up trade unions a little bit just to increase social reform desire, because that'll push people towards liberalism faster. Another thing that'll do it is giving more freedom of press. Giving more freedom of press will keep people more politically aware. I think I'm just gonna outlaw slavery. Boom. Just overnight, I just outlawed slavery in the whole country. This is gonna make a radical shift in the country's population. So first of all, I want to point out, we have 125,000 slaves in Rio de Janeiro alone. Across the whole country, we have 500,000 slaves. And we have just outlawed slavery. Boom. 0 slaves in the Empire of Brazil overnight. So, we probably just had an explosion in farmers, I'm assuming? Yeah, I should have checked what that was before, but I get the feeling we have just had an enormous explosion in, farmers. Mostly farmers, and probably laborers in some of the areas with, like, mines and stuff. Don't exactly think the freed slaves are going to become landowners overnight or anything, but they have their fucking freedom, which is pretty important. It also means that our tax income is going to start going up as they start making money and are able to get taxed, because, again, you can't tax someone who doesn't have money. Slaves don't have money. Now, mind you, we're taxing 100%, but our efficiency is so bad, we're only taxing them 25%. So realistically, they're still making 75% more than they were before. So this is still a big upgrade for their quality of life. And we finished our first technology here. We have education efficiency up 10% and colonial migration up a little bit. The colonial migration doesn't really affect us right now, but the education efficiency, it'll just make it a little easier to teach people how to read. I could go for the next one, but by the time we finish it, it'll be well after 1840, and at 1840, we can do a research for technology, for research points, which is way more important to me. So we want to do another early game tech. This would be coal, sulfur, and iron production, none of which we really get. Experimental railroad we don't need yet. Basic chemistry is a little nice, mostly just because of what it leads to. I can't do any level 2 techs without it going way past where I want it to be. So tempting early things to take. This would unlock Hussars, which are a pretty good military unit. Most of the things I really want right now are a little expensive. What I could do is something like early classical theory, because this would get me the ability to make lumber. That would be very efficient. Lumber and furniture, but not immediately. You know what? Freedom of trade. Yeah, freedom of trade. The 10% farming output is actually going to be really nice for the country. And being able to make cement and paper factories later on would be nice. Oil production, precious metals, in case we end up getting a hold of precious metals. Really? I'm just doing it for the farming output. And we'll be done that at an estimate, March of 1840. Okay. And it'll probably actually be a little bit earlier because our tech points are going to be a little higher by then. Because we're getting more of our population are intellectuals. We want at least 2% of our population to be intellectuals for research points, but realistically, we want 4% to max out the rate at which people are becoming literate, because literacy also gives you research. You have like 500k more farmers. Yeah, so 10% is a lot. That's true. That would actually really supercharge the baseline of the economy. Like the floor of the economy would raise a lot. It would also mean that less people need to be farmers. More people would be able to, you know, become clergymen and stuff, or intellectuals, or officers, or move up in life without depopulating farms, you know? The better our technology for farming, the less farmers we need, and the more people could raise up the social ladder. God, I do not like that. A solid third of the poor people are not meeting all their life needs. They're not meeting none of them, but they're not meeting all of them. Nobody in the middle or in the lower class is meeting none of their life needs, but 4% of the artisans in the middle class are meeting none of their life needs. So they're probably going to end up becoming farmers at some point. Can I say the Pokemon fossil script alive, please? Maybe another time. I don't want to encourage that. Yeah, piss off the free trade people. I want more reform. You see, militancy has gone down massively, by the way, by outlawing slavery. That really made the people happy. God, we're hemorrhaging money. Aren't I at war with those guys who are asking right now to go through my country? No, I'm not at war with them. Where are they? It's this country, right? Who are they at war with? Oh, they're worth my enemies. Yeah, they can go through my lands. Oh, finally, we got the Casus Belli. Okay. Let's drop a save just in case, but I'm not really a big save scummy guy. Okay, let's, I want to acquire a state. I can pick between Bolivar and Zulia? What is worth more to me? So, Bolivar is this little coast up here. Is it literally just this little bit up here? Like these two? Hold on, let me double check that. Bolivar is including a bunch of stuff. Huh. Both of these are in Bolivar, and they are a little bit coffee, a little bit of fish. I think I like the Zulia land more. Oh, Bolivar also includes these bits of forest. Okay. Which is nice. I would get a little bit of coffee. I'd get the border. I'd get more food. And I am importing a lot of food. You know what? Maybe I do want Bolivar more. I'd still get a little coffee, just less. What's the population like here? 15,000 people? Whereas I get both of these, which is way more coffee. Yeah, I get way more coffee if I got that west bit. Would I also get this? No, that's Dutch. Damn. I was hoping I'd get that because it's got precious metals, and that's good money. You know what? I think we actually want Bolivar. It'd be easier to take, and it'd make the subsequent wars easier as well. Let's do it. Just to double check. He's not friendly with any major nation. And the only one they're allied with are really weak, pathetic people. Okay. I'm declaring. I'm declaring for Bolivar, and I'm calling my allies. And we're marching in. Oh, wow, their supply limits are bad here. I gotta split that again. I gotta split it even more than that. Oh my god. Yeah, that'll even have attrition. I had to send 2 brigades in to not have attrition there. Okay, this guy, he can move in there, okay. Let's, nope, I want... This one is another 2 brigades that can go up in there, okay. Could you add a war goal and take both? Potentially. However, I'd be jacking up my infamy to a ridiculous degree very early. Okay, Uruguay didn't join. Because they're losers. Nope, didn't join. No one joined! Okay, cool. We don't have the money to fund the Navy. In fact, I'm thinking of decommissioning most of my Navy for the sake of saving money. Tempting. It's tempting. I need to have a time of peace after this, to be honest. I gotta defund the military for a while after this. It's getting bad. Sieging is gonna be slow, by the way, because we're sieging with such small groups for the sake of not having everyone starve. Yeah, heavily in favor of full citizenship. I want a party to crop up that represents that. Okay, Bolivar includes up there too, right? Yeah. Trying to efficiently move people around. Oh, Colombia wants another alliance, do they? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, you want to join in? They will not accept. Why did you get an alliance with me, buddy? Okay, we got 2 brigades up there. 1 cavalry, 1 infantry. They would lose if they attacked, because they'd be attacking into very rough terrain. Okay, no, they're willing to march on now, because they have numbers there. I'll do that, then. And they gave up very quickly. Now they want to go that way. Okay. They're going to reach that on May 22nd. He's going to be out well before that. Do you have a P.O. box? I don't, sorry. Okay, they have 12 there. I mean, you guys can go there and just starve. That's fine with me. Alright. Yeah, they can have fun with that. Oh. Now they want to move down there. Okay, I can juggle this as long as you want me to, buddy. You're gonna lose this. Yep. That's funny. They want to move every time that they think they have a numbers advantage. Okay. They take till June 2nd? They take till June 5th. Ah, they're actually going to catch that one. Damn. Not much I can do about that. Overextended with them. I should have been more careful. Yeah, they're not going to make it out of there in time, and there's nothing I can do to make them change direction right now, because I have no one in position to force them out. A better thing to do would be that. I can possibly threaten them from the side. We'll see. I'm probably just going to lose those guys, though. That's going to be really bad for this war. And we're about to hit no money, by the way. Yeah, we're actually taking out loans now. I mean, I could make money by putting a tariff to 100%, but that would impoverish any artisans. I mean, on one hand, if I impoverish artisans, I'd be But then I'd need to import more. That's hard to justify. Hard to justify. I can't afford to lower my education spending. Yeah, you're sieging that. How did you get this many troops? They didn't have that many troops before. What the fuck? Where did they get 24 brigades? Where did that come from? Did they mobilize? They must have mobilized. I should mobilize, yeah. Keep forgetting about that mechanic. I'm trying to retreat, but they're getting hit so early in this fight. Yeah, almost no one survived that. Are they really moving here to try and fight me? Alright, merge that. When are you gonna arrive? They're gonna arrive, my guy on the first, them on the second. Okay. Okay. Oh no, they stopped? No, they're still going. Okay. Will we get there in time? Who knows? I might have played this war wrong. Again, I'm still learning. That's what these streams are all about. I don't think I maneuvered well. Hey, Chile, you want to actually back me up in the war? You know, the war that, you know, we're in an alliance for a reason. They will accept the Venezuelan war. They'll accept both now. Thank God. Thank God. Okay, Chile's in the war with us at least. There, we won that big fight. Now it's time to push back. Where are they running to? Right there? We're chasing them over the river. It sucks to do, but we're doing it. We need to wipe out their army now if we're going to win this. Okay. Keep going. We can win this. Get my backup in here. Don't like that over river fighting. Ecuador, you want to actually join? Yep. Nice. Hey, backup, you want to get there? There we go, there we go. We're turning the tide. There we go, there we go. They're marching to the capital. Okay. Get in there before they fall. Oh, that's going to be close. Oh, almost lost that one. Oh, no, it's still turning. We're getting bad dice rolls. Oh, come on. Ah. And that was a total party wipe. Damn. See, that's how one bad war can really fuck you in the game, but that's why I'm practicing, right? Fair to say that I can't come back and win this war. Probably. Maybe. I am mobilizing, as you can see. It's iffy. It's iffy. Because they're going to mobilize as well, aren't they? Yeah. It was a good start, but I could have played that start better. I think on the next file, I'd play that start better. This isn't like a ruined file, but literally just learning experience. You're trying to figure out the beginning, and so this is just how you learn grand strategy games. Fail a lot, and learn how to do it better next time. I should have mobilized early, and maybe I shouldn't have accepted that other war. Okay. You know what? That worked out well, though. I'm happy. That was a good learning experience. And that got me the footage that I needed. You can save scum? That's not fun. That got me the experience I needed, though. I know what I would do differently next time. Next time, I would probably decommission a couple... I'd decommission my fleet, because I realize now I shouldn't have even kept it at the beginning. I should have just destroyed probably the entire fleet. I can't afford it. Brazil just can't afford it this early. War and Two Fronts never seems to go well. No, it goes well often in this game, honestly. What I did wrong would be I should have mobilized earlier. I forgot that that's an option. I should have decommissioned the whole fleet from the beginning because it's just too expensive. And I don't really regret my war with Venezuela. It was still smart to attack when I did, because they would just get alliances later. It's easier to do it in early game than late game. Maybe I should have gone after Paraguay first, because... but I wanted to get some infamy early. Because you want to get infamy early so they can be ticking down the entire game. Underestimated the congregated army early on? I didn't underestimate the army. What I did was I did a bad move here. I moved up into here too early. I should have always had people in range to threaten them into not advancing. That was the goal, because my congregated army is better than theirs, especially on defense, because they'd be attacking into a rainforest. So by always having people nearby, I could break siege and threaten to march, and that will stop them. If I juggle that, I can always have at least one guy sieging at a time. It's a slow way to do war, but you will win in the long run doing that. And I didn't need to siege much land. What we did do a good job, though, of is we got a social reform very, very early. And we're not even that far off of getting another one. So we did some things well, did some things badly. But I only have so much time, and I have about 1 million things to do today. So I'm going to get working on some stuff. And before you know it, I'll be streaming more Bannerlord and even streaming another fresh file of this. I'm probably going to just keep playing Brazil over and over until I figure out how to make Brazil really awesome. They're a lot harder in this mod than they are in the base game. In the base game, Brazil is very simple. So we'll see. We'll see. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the stream. I very much appreciate it. Until next time, have a nice day.